Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Arshad Kptm. I am the first presenter. So, I want to present about UNESCO at Sweden. UNESCO. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO World Heritage Sites are places of importance to cultural or natural heritage as described in the UNESCO World Heritage Convention established in 1972. The Kingdom of Sweden accepted the convention on 22nd January 1995, making its historical sites eligible for inclusion on the list. The first Swedish site added to the list was the royal domain of Drottningholm, inscribed at the 15th session of the World Heritage Committee held in Carthage, Tunisia in 1991. The high coast Kptm archipelago is shared with Finland, while the Straff-Adriatic Arc is shared with 9 other countries. So for the culture, 1. Agricultural landscape of Southern Åland. The southern part of the island of Åland in the Baltic Sea is dominated by a vast limestone plateau. As a consequence, the landscape is unique, with abundant evidence of continuous human settlement from prehistoric times to the present day. This outstanding human settlement has made optimum use of the diverse landscape types on a single island. Limestone bedrock and a warm, dry climate have set limits for how the islanders can use their landscape. Second, mining area of the Great Copper Mountain in Falun. The mining area of the Great Copper Mountain in Falun is one of the most outstanding industrial monuments in the world. The cultural landscape graphically illustrates the activities of copper production in the Dalarna region of central Sweden since at least the 9th century. This culminated in the 17th century in the dominance of Sweden as the major producer of copper and exerting a strong influence on the technological, economic, social and political development of Sweden and Europe. The story of the mining industry can be seen in the abundant industrial and domestic remains characteristic of this industry that still survive in the natural landscape around Falun, which has been molded and transformed by human ingenuity and resourcefulness. 3. Grimeton Radio Station, Varberg. The Varberg radio station at Grimeton in the southern Sweden, built 1922 to 24, is an exceptionally well preserved monument to early wireless transatlantic communication. It consists of the transmitter equipment, including the aerial system of 627 m high steel towers. The equipment has been maintained in operating condition. The site is an outstanding example of the development of telecommunication and is the only surviving example of a major transmitting station based on pre-electronic technologies. 4. Straff-Adriatic Arc. The Straff-Adriatic Arc is a chain of survey triangulations stretching from Hammerfest in Norway to the Black Sea through 10 countries and over 2820 km. These are points of a survey carried out between 1816 and 1855 by several scientists under leadership of the astronomer Friedrich Georg Wilhelm Struve, which represented the first accurate measuring of a long segment of a meridian. This helped to establish the exact size and shape of our planet and mark an important step in the development of Earth science and topographic mapping. It's an extraordinary example of the development of science and of collaboration among scientists from different countries, as well as monarchies for a common scientific cause. Natural, high-cost Kptm archipelago. The Kptm archipelago, Finland, and the high-cost Sweden are situated in the Gulf of Bothnia, a northern extension of the Baltic Sea. The 5,600 islands of the Kptm archipelago feature unusual rich washboard moraines, the geomoraines formed by the melting of the continental ice sheet 10,000 to 24,000 years ago. The site affords outstanding opportunities for the understanding of the important processes that form the glaciated and let uplift areas of the Earth's surface. The landscape of the high-cost Kptm archipelago today is mainly the result of the last ice age and the impact of the sea and succession of vegetation. That's all for me, and thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Shafiq bin Muhammad Izam. My ID number is AFJ 2004103229. So now I want to present about natural made increase. First is Belisani Lake Cave. Discovered in 1951 by Giannis Petrochilos, the cave of Belisani and its underground lake are situated on the island of California, Kefalonia, in the Lernaean archipelago. Located near Sami, the cave underground lake 20 meter 66 feet below the surface. Include islet where Pan and Nymphas took sanctuary. Belisani was the name of one of the nymphs. Nowadays, hundreds of visitors explore the unique geographical formation by boat and revel in the beauty in the place. Second is volcanic rocks of Falakro. The island of Lemnos or Limnos, nest in the northern portion of the Aegean Sea, is an under the radar destination, even though it boasts a range of stunning beaches and its hunting village. But the highlight may be its unbounded nature, which includes the mud volcanoes dating from the Miocene era. As such, the spectacular volcanic rocks of Falakro, also named Fragokevala, in the northern part of the island are must-see. The unusual shaped rocks are made of solidified lava. Next, Petrinos Dasos, the region of Epirus in the northern line of Greece, is home a few stunning wonders, including a stone forest aptly named Petrino Dasos. This Kartik limestone structure located 1,500 meter, 4,921 feet above sea level. Look like roots stacked on top of another. This the new field of rock, rising around oak and maple tree, can be found on the way to the Ozia viewpoint, and is a great spot to stop before enjoying the view. Next is Meteora. Meteora is extensive region location in central Greece near the Pindos mountain. In phases of collection in gigantic rock, home to a series of medieval monasteries, some of which are still in operation. The UNESCO list region boasts spectacular site, incredible nature, and a mystic atmosphere. Stay in Kalambaka, the little village at the foot of the rocks, and take time to explore the region. Visit the monastery along with the surrounding area, where we can experience the nature beautiful of Greece. Samaria Gorge is the last. The island of Crete, the largest island in Greece, also houses a few natural gems, including the Samaria Gorge. In National Park and World Biosphere Reserve attracts lovers of the great outdoor. Visitors can explore the 19 kilometers long, 9.9 miles Gorge, which is open from May to October, all the way from the Amalos Patio to the coast. The strenuous trek takes explorer through steep cliff, stream of the freshwater and forest, which are home to local fauna such as the Kri god. It also possible to camp within the gorge in the designated areas. Thank you.
Okay, so today I will talk about Norway Heritage Site. But first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Lizam Muslim. My matric number is ASJ 2004-10328. Okay, let's back to our topic. Norway Heritage Site. First of all, I will talk about Norway Natural Heritage Site. Okay, the first location is Jernfjord, which is Natural Heritage Site. Okay, the Jernfjord is situated at southwestern Norway and northeast Bergen. Jernfjord and Narrowfjord is set 120 kilometers from each other. They are part of West Norwegian fjord landscape, which is stretched from Stavanger in the south to Endeles. The two fjords among world's longest and deepest are considered archetypically fjord landscape and among the most significantly outstanding anywhere. Their exceptional natural beauty is derived by their narrow and step-side crystalline rock walls that rise up to 1,400 meters from the Norwegian Sea and extend 400 meters below sea level. For the criteria, the Jernfjord and Narrowfjord areas are considered to be among most significantly outstanding fjord areas on the planet. Their outstanding natural beauty is derived From their narrow and step-side crystalline rock walls rise up to 1,400 meters direct from the Norwegian Sea and extend 500 meters below sea level. The two fragile areas are include all features that typically characterize a fjord landscape and its geological evolution. These include deep rock basins reaching deep far below the sea level, prominent rock thresholds, high and steep cliffs, slide scars, and avalanche deposits, moraines deposits, hanging valleys, and so-called fish hook or ignore valleys. Okay, for the next is rock art of Alta, which is the man-made site of heritage. This group of petroglyphs in the Alta Fjord near the Arctic Circle bears the trace of a settlement dating from 4200 to 500 BC or before century. The thousands of paintings and engravings adds to our understanding of the environment and human activities on fringes of the far north in prehistoric times. The rock art shows communication between the world of living and the world of the spirits, and give insight into the cosmology of prehistoric hunters and gatherers. There is an exceptional high number of human figures and compelling portrayals of the prehistoric social life, dancing, procession, and rituals. Moreover, the rock art provides a unique testimony to the interaction of hunters-gatherers with the landscape. The panels show hunting, fishing, boat journeys, and are thought to representing micro-landscape. The art of Alta, with its thousands of paintings and engravings, is exceptional testimony aspect of life, the environment, and the activities of hunter-gatherer societies in Arctic prehistoric times. The wide range of motifs and skin of high artistic quality reflect a long tradition of hunter-gatherer societies and their interaction with landscape, as well as the evolution of their symbols and rituals from approximately about the year. The rock art was created close to what the shoreline in prehistory. The landscape in which the rock art is found remains relatively unchanged in recent times, and in particular the view stretching many kilometers out into the future is most untouched by modern activity. In Alta, anyone can easily imagine the changing landscape in prehistoric times. Natural erosion and vandalism are potential threats to the carving and paintings. Okay, for the next, okay, let's us move to the next place. Okay, the last but not least, Brighton. In a historic harbour district in Brighton, one of North Europe's oldest port cities on the west coast of Norway, which was established as a centre for trade by the 12th century in 1350. Party. The Hanseatic League established a Hanseatic office in Britain. They gradually acquired ownership of Britain and controlled the trade in stockfish from northern Norway through privilege granted by the crown. Britain has damaged by a number of fires through the centuries and has been rebuilt after every fire, closely following the previous property structure and plan as well as the building techniques. Brighton appearance today stems from the time after the fire in 1702. The buildings are made of wood in keeping with vernacular building tradition. Trading post in 1754 on impetus of fishermen and ship owners of German origin. Today, Brighton is a significant part of historic wooden city of Britain. Brighton bears the trace of social organization and illustrates the use of space in a quasi-Hanseatic merchant that dates back to the 14th century. It is a type of pattern fondaco, unequal in the world, where the structures have remained within the cityscape and perpetuate the memory of one of the oldest large trading posts of Northern Europe. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, for Italy heritage site, the natural that is UNESCO have is Isole Eoli, or known as Aeolian Island, lies in the Tyrrhenian Sea between Italy and Sicily, northwest of the Strait of Messina. The islands are in places scarred by quarry and waste dump, eroded cliff, and unsightly new housing. UNESCO 2010. Meanwhile, tourism has become the dominant industry. The Sacri Monti, sacred mountains of Piedmont and Lombardy, are often a destination for the religious revolt, originally conceived as a place to offer a safer pilgrimage experience in respect to that made to the Holy Land, hold great religious and symbolic value, and for their harmonious incorporation of architectural elements within their magnificent surrounding formed by hills, forests, and lakes. And lastly, the Arab Norman Palermo and the Cathedral Church of Cefalù and Montreal. Arab Norman Palermo and Cathedral Church of Cefalù and Montreal is a series of 9 religious and civic structures located on the northern coast of Sicily, dating from the era of the Norman Kingdom of Sicily. 2 places, 3 churches, a cathedral, and a bridge. In Palermo, it is important to note that different buildings constructed each of the sites that are linked together because of their shared architecture and time prior. Currently, all of the buildings are under continuous restoration and care. This care varies from the site to site. Most often consists of typical restoration, cleaning, maintaining murals, research, and structural restoration.
Assalamualaikum, and my name is Muhammad Aika bin Muhammad Zulkifli. I want to introduce about case study the World Heritage Site in Spain, UNESCO. The UNESCO have two physical but geographical feature of either natural or man-made Spain. And firstly is Dohana National Park. Dohana National Park is in southern Spain. It's known for its wastelands, migratory birds, pine forests, and shifting coastal dunes. In the park, Palacio del Alquebron is a 23rd century place home to the National Park Visitor Center nearby El Rocio. Hermitage is a religious sanctuary dating from the 13th century. On the coast, place the Matalacasrias has a seafront promenade lined with bars and eateries. And the second site heritage is a ancient and primeval beech forest of the Kptm and other regions of Europe. Ancient and primeval beech forests of the Kptm and other regions of Europe is a transnational campsite nature UNESCO World Heritage Site encompassing forests in 12 European countries. And the thirdly is Tate National Park. Tate National Park is on Tenerife, the largest of Spain's Canary Islands. It's named for Mount Tate, a towering volcano and the highest peak in Spain. Trails and the Tate cable car lead to the summit. To the west, Pico Viejo has crater views. The unusual rock formations of Roques de Garcia include the iconic rock Cincado Column. Southwest, a traditional shepherd's home is now the Juan Ivora Ethnographic Museum. And last, the Jarajene National Park. Jarajene National Park is a densely forest area on La Gomera, one of Spain's Canary Islands. Misty and humid, the park has rare laurel forests and many subtropical plant species. From the Pajarito trailhead, a circular route reaches Alto de Generis Peak with archaeological sites and sweeping views. To the east, Miracado El Bailadero lookout has views of the Los Roques rock formations and of the Imigua ravine. Okay, next I want to introduce the physical and geographic features of man-made in Spain. Firstly is a historic center of Cordoba. The historic center of Cordoba, Spain, is one of the largest of its kind in Europe. In 1984, UNESCO registered the Mosque Cathedral of Cordoba as a World Heritage Site. A decade later, it expanded the inscription to include much of the old town. And secondly is historic city of Toledo, Spain. Toledo is the repository of more than 2,000 years of history, successfully a Roman Municipum, the capital of the Visigothic kingdom, a fortress of the Emirate of Cordoba, an outpost of the Christian kingdom, and in the 16th century, the temporary seat of supreme power under Charles V. Its many works of art and architecture are the product of three major religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And the third is works of Gaudi, Barcelona, Spain. 7 properties built by the architect Antoni Gaudi, 1852 to 1926 in or near Barcelona, testify to Gaudi's exceptional creative contribution to the development of architecture and building technology in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. These monuments represent an eclectic as well as a very personal style which was given free range in the design of gardens, sculpture, and all decorative arts as well as architecture. And lastly is a cathedral, Alcázar, and Archivo de Indias, Sevilla, Spain. The Archivo General de Indias, housed in the ancient mansions exchange of Sevilla, Spain. The Casa Lonja de Mercaderes is the repository of extremely valuable archival documents in lettering the history of the Spanish Empire in the Americas and the Philippines. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Ali Faikal Rizal. So today I want to explain about the World Heritage Site in Portugal. So for the physical and geographical features of item man-made in Portugal, number 1 is Alto Douro wine region. Wine has been produced by traditional landholders in the Alto Douro region for some 2,000 years. Since the 18th century, its main product, port wine, has been world famous for its quality. This long tradition of viticulture has produced a cultural landscape of outstanding beauty that reflects its technology, social and economic evolution. So number 2 is central zone of the town of Angra do Heroísmo in the Azores, situated on one of the islands in the Azores archipelago. This was an obligatory port of call from the 15th century until the advent of the steamship in the 19th century. The 400-year-old San Sebastião and San João Baptista fortifications are unique examples of military architecture damaged by an earthquake in 1980. Angra is now being restored. So for number 3, Convent of Christ in Tomar. Originally designed as a monument symbolizing the Reconquest, the convent of the Knights Templar of Tomar transferred in 1344 to the Knights of the Order of Christ, came to symbolize just the opposite during the Manueline period, the opening up of Portugal to other civilizations. So for the physical and geographical features of Ida Natural in Portugal, the place is just one, and Laure Silva of Madeira. The Laure Silva of Madeira is an outstanding relic of a previously widespread laurel forest type. It is the largest surviving area of laurel forest and is believed to be 90% primary forest. It contains a unique suite of plants and animals, including many endemic species such as the Madeiran long-toed pigeon. So that's all for me. Thank you.